Well, I think the starting point for thinking about China is just to recognize how well the economy has performed, not just over the longer term, but particularly in the last 5 years since the global financial crisis. China has maintained a very, very high level of growth. So that has also brought with it, obviously, some potential risks, particularly on the investment side of the economy. So I think the main challenge for China in the future will be to rebalance the economy away from very intensive, investment-intensive growth, more to a balanced pattern which is driven more by consumption growth. But it's a big economy, China. Obviously, it's difficult for everything to move at the same speed and without any bumps along the way. Well, I think the Chinese policymakers have been focused on rebalancing for many years now. And I think the financial crisis really delayed that process a lot, because the only way to keep growth going in the Great Recession was really to pump up investment in infrastructure in particular. So the process of rebalancing has perhaps been delayed a little bit. But really it requires policies that focus on promoting investment. And that's really a long-term project, because the conditions have to be created which allow Chinese households to start to engage in more consumption activities. So that means perhaps deregulation of the financial sector. It means taking measures to strengthen the social safety net and really create an environment where households have more confidence about the future and can start to consume more and maybe save a little bit less. Probably also involves some reforms of the SOE sector, so that some of the wealth that has been accumulated in that sector flows through to the household sector. And then, of course, there is the issue of wages, and allowing wages to start to rise more. Again, creating mechanisms by which the fruits of the economic growth in China start to flow through to ordinary Chinese people and make them more optimistic about the future. Well, the global environment for China obviously has been challenging in the last few years. If we look at the two major areas of the world outside China, other than the Asian region as a whole, there's the US and then there's Europe. The US has been recovering quite well, not very strong growth, but it's been steady growth. And the US is, the more time goes on, the more that the US is really starting to find its growth momentum again. That's good for China. On the other side of the world, of course, the Eurozone is still mired in a kind of crisis and is back in recession. So that is not an area of the world that China can really expect to see much external growth.